Hello, everyone, and welcome to ATS Fully Engaged on the Rocks, your podcast for everything Advanced Stroke System. I'm Evan, your host today, along with my co-host, Mitch.
Hello.
And today we have a very, very special episode, a very special guest, Mr. Scott Eagles.
Hello.
So,
oh yes, please. Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. Sit, please, sit.
They can't sit. They're digital.
I have no idea how to turn it off. I only know how to turn it on.
It just goes on and on, eh?
Yes.
People are losing their minds.
That's right. Although, as I was telling Evan earlier, affectionately known as Scottigles, but only to me.
That's true. You kind of coined that. Yeah, and I will respond to it. So,
so
yeah.
Sure, so. You're talking about that beforehand.
Yeah. I'll happily respond to that.
Nice.
My ears perk up and I look around to see what it is I need to address. Yeah.
Well, I have to say that Scott, I'm very happy you're on the show, that you know about ATSFE now, because for the last, Mitch, I don't know if you know this, but for the last couple months, I've been pestering Scott with all sorts of obscure and kind of rules lawyery questions about the rules, and partly that was due to the tournament, because I didn't want to get surprised by I didn't understand how that worked. Yeah, but partly it was because I've been writing all these articles about tutorials and how to play the game and all this stuff. And so I wanted to make sure I had it down really well. But we hadn't talked about ATSFE yet. We hadn't released it. The cat was still in the bag, so I didn't mention it to Scott. So I was like, oh, God, Scott, I was like cringing. I'm typing in these questions. Like, please don't touch me. I don't really play like this in real life. But thank you for your patience.
Oh, yeah. No, I enjoy it because I I love the system, right? So I love getting into the dirt about it. And I love getting into the dirt because sometimes it exposes weaknesses, right? That, we can address, right? Talk about it as a group, maybe eventually propose them to Ray Tapio. But even if we find something we like to use going forward as a group, as a community, then that's a good thing. Because it's not, obviously, the rules aren't airtight. And yeah, they can use that kind of constant digging at.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I like it. And of course, all I heard was Evan's going to double down, and now you're going to get twice as many questions.
Yeah, it's going to go into overdrive.
Now that I feel justified, I'll feel comfortable asking these questions.
Yeah, you have my permission. So you're actually putting together a pile of written stuff and maybe other materials just to aid in introducing people to the game. And
yeah, so I kind of jokingly refer to it as the ATSFE media empire, but we're planning on having a YouTube channel, this podcast, and a blog, and so we're kind of dividing it up, and we'll do bits and pieces of each. And so that's why Evan's been working hard on a lot of different articles for the blog to have written versions, either written versions of a video or just standalone written things. So.
Yeah, standalone articles on some topic. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's very cool. Wow, you guys are busy behind the scenes for sure.
Trying.
Yeah.
All right. So on the rocks, Scott, what are you drinking?
Oh yeah. Nothing on the rocks. I'm having a beer from the Amsterdam Brewery, which is a local brewery here in Toronto. And I'm drinking what they call the Helles Golden Lager. It's one of their latest offerings, and I thought I'd give it a spin. Not bad. It's nice. And what's extra nice is that they do free delivery over $50. So I just get a case of it delivered when I need a case, and I never have to step foot outside my door. So that suits me.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mitch, what do you got going on?
I am rocking a gin and tonic. It was calling to me. So there's a local distillery, Pinckney Bend, and they make both whiskey and gin. But my favorite one is the gin that they age in the whiskey barrels that they use. And so that's what I use to make my gin and tonics, and it's very good.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's a classic summer drink, right? I mean, well, it's a classic all the time drink, but really in the summer because it's cool, refreshing,
Yeah.
And I don't have to muddle a bunch of mint leaves for mojito. So.
Yeah.
I think if you added a lime, it's a summer drink. If you add an olive, it's
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Always lime for me, but.
Oh yeah, I love lime too. It's fantastic.
What are you doing, Evan?
I took a page from your book. yesterday. Drinking a Manhattan with Troopers. Double. It was a double. Now it's like a 2.5 or 3. I don't know. The glass wasn't big enough.
This ought to go well.
It's going to be a good episode.
Right. Of course it is. We have Scott Eagles.
Yes, you have Scott Eagles. It's all you need.
Now, Scott, I have a question. Are you going to introduce yourself that Scott Eagles at some point in your life in the future?
I don't know. I'll put that on the to be mulled over list. But like I said, I will respond to it.
Okay,
Lovely.
that's enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to start with some very serious questions.
I'm ready.
Kind of related to ATS.
Okay.
All right. So, would you rather fight 50 lemur-sized bears or 1 bear-sized lemur?
Okay. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
If you had to choose.
Yeah.
Remember, he did say it was a 2.5 triple, so.
Yeah, that's right. I got to keep that in mind.
Would you rather fight 50 lemur-sized bears or 1 bear-sized lemur?
Ooh, okay. I'm alone, right? I'm alone?
You're alone.
Okay.
I know.
Do I have any weapons?
No.
Just my fists, right?
Yeah, well,
Right.
I mean, and you can fight and kick and do whatever.
Okay. I think, you know what? I think the numbers, the 50 on 1, even if they're small, you're toast. You're finished. I'll take my chances with the bear-sized lemur.
Okay. That's fair enough. I agree with that.
Yeah. You're still probably toast, but you may have a chance against 150. No.
1 bear-sized lemur.
Yeah, 1 bear-sized lemur. Are you logging my answer?
Yeah. I'm still busy trying to figure out how this is ATS related. You know, I'm sure Evan will get there someday.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, there's fighting. There's fighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Combat. That was melee combat, or melee combat, or melee combat, or however you would like to say it.
Yeah.
I think you'd be going through the 3 possibilities.
Yeah. I think I like, I've heard it's pronounced melee. I sort of like melee rather than melee. Like, ow, fight
Right.
the melee. I like melee, but I don't know if it's correct.
Well,
No idea.
all right. I mean, so if it's a French word, so it should be it's Malay. But actually, so it's funny because there are words in French that I have a hard, like that we use in English, that I have a hard time saying with an English accent. I'm like, that sounds horrible. But instead of
Yeah.
that one is actually the opposite. I feel, and another one that's much more pertinent to what we're talking about is grognard. Like,
Yeah.
I can say grognard, but
Grognard.
Yeah, you feel like an idiot, right?
Right.
yeah, that sounds way too sophisticated. The whole point is that it's supposed to be some like
Right.
idiot asshole like.
It actually doesn't sound as good as the anglicized grognard.
Exactly.
Yes, it seems to capture the essence of the thing better in English, pronounced
Correct.
that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally agree.
Exactly right. All right, so moving slightly more, significantly more towards the ATS realm.
Let's take our time. Let's not rush it.
We're trying to get a sense of where Scott Eagles begins, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is the
Exactly.
foreplay questions.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, well, let's enjoy it. Let's not rush it.
All right. So Scott, or Scott Eagles,
Yeah.
if you're going to be abandoned on a desert island,
Okay.
would you take advanced to growth or a pocket knife?
Or a pocket knife?
Correct.
You know what? I think I could probably fashion something sharp out of a stone. Get lucky and find something sharp, a stone, a stick that could function as a pocket knife. And I think if you were alone on a desert island, you'd have a lot of time to kill. So I would want ATS with me to kill that time. So I'm going to take my ATS. Can I have my whole collection? Can I have my whole collection? Yeah? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, definitely. ATS collection. And yes, that's the right answer, isn't it? I know. That's the right answer.
You have just won 100,000.
Right.
100,000 pocket knives. No, wait, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, how big? Well, speaking seriously, how big is your
Yeah.
ATS collection?
I think I pretty much has everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
like
impressive.
yeah,
Literally, and when I say literally, I mean literally. You mean
Yeah.
literally, like TT and tabletop?
yeah, oh yeah. There may be like 2 or 3 releases that I let go for whatever reason. But like it's at this point, I've become kind of an incurable completist with the system, right? It's like a self-reinforcing thing. I do not need all the ATS I have. Definitely don't need it, but I can't stop myself now.
No, I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I really wish he would embrace the BYOC a little more, because at some point you don't need another German infantry squad.
Oh my God.
Japanese infantry. You know, I mean, I could feel the division of German infantry at the squad level at this point. So.
Yeah. Literally 1-to-1.
Exactly. So.
No, I agree. Go ahead, Evan.
No, I was just going to say. I mean, I'm quite a new ATS player, and I don't have that much stuff. I mean, it's like not even probably 1% of what you guys got. But I still even feel like, oh man, okay, yeah, I've got a lot of Russians and Germans already. Like, that's weird. I don't really need any more Russians and Germans.
Yeah, it's kind of I agree with Mitch for sure that it would be nice to focus more on the BYOC, because it's a funny thing with Ray. I don't know how much we want to get into discussion of Ray Tapio, but
chances are he may or may not listen, and that's fine.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. It's like the impression I get from Ray is that he's not, and I could be completely wrong, but he doesn't seem overly concerned about building a larger customer base, as in serving his existing customer base. That's the impression I get. Okay.
I think I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. Like kind of, like a qualified kind of thing. But I think that's the general sort of gist. So if that's who he's serving, you like you say, Mitch, you don't need to keep including all these redundant sets of counters, especially if it means you drop the cost, buy the product by like $20, maybe $20
or whatever.
$30.
Yeah, however much. Yeah, sure.
However much needs to be included as part of it,
and then still keep sets on hand for like starter sets that have the counters you need to play the starter sets, and get your collection built towards having enough to buy a BYOC.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah, I think that could work, but
yeah.
I mean, the inner workings of Critical Hit are certainly a mystery.
They seem to be sometimes. Yeah, they seem to be sometimes. But I know they catch a lot of flack from all quarters. But I cut them slack because they're a small operation, right?
Sure.
And they're going to make mistakes. You're not always going to understand what they're doing. But Ray's managed to stay in business,
right,
for over 20 years, right, or however long he's been at this. So that says something to the
right,
the nature of their operations.
Right. I mean, my two criteria are ship me what I asked for.
Yeah.
Right. And ship it to me. So beyond that, I'm whatever. I'm a big boy. I can figure out some stuff, and there's a lot of, we complain about the website a lot, and I still think it needs a lot of work.
Right.
It could be handled maybe a little bit better, but at the end of the day, I can figure out what I need to get. I think. But to your earlier point, it's harder for new players to get started because it's so difficult to navigate. It's very, very much built on the people who are buying know what they need already, and so I don't need to really worry about that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I totally get it. Like yourself, I can go in there and I'd be like, yeah, no problem. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what I don't want to see. I know what I want to see. And, I've never feel like, oh, am I buying a product that I've already purchased in some other form? Like, I've never fallen into that trap. Although I'm sure
I have done that before.
I have done it, but I've knowingly done it. Okay, but this is the difference. I've knowingly done it. I made the conscious choice to give him more money for something I already own. But that's just me, right? That's just.
Well, I've ended up buying the same product twice just because I wasn't paying attention, and so somebody was on the receiving end of it, because I ended up turning that into a gift to somebody, right? But
yeah, okay.
Because like my whole mantra, again, like part of our earlier conversation, my whole thing is let's get some more ATS players. Let's grow the community. Let's find new players.
Yes.
And if the case is, hey, you want me to give you a free game that has stuff in it that will allow you to play, here you go. Knock yourself out. Right? All you need are the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll teach you how to play, and then you don't need the rules. But anyway, sorry.
Well, Scott, so we were going to ask this question later when we got to the quote serious section, but I'm very curious now. So if you have 99% of ATS products, do you play other games?
Do I play other games? Yeah. I collect other games. I do. But nothing. Nothing. I mean, and I don't even play ATS that regularly, right? Like, I'm at a point in my life right now where I don't have the time. Like, if I could, I'd play ATS every day for a few hours, right? That would be ideal for me, but I just can't do that. So I do play ATS more than anything else, and I do play other games and have in the past. War games, but then I have other interests too. Like I have a friend that I play fairly regularly online with. We play the Arkham Horror card game, right? The Arkham Horror LCG. So,
okay.
My taste range. I'm not just a war gamer, although like war gamers get me the most excited. But there's other game types that I enjoy as well.
So have you played the Arkham Horror board game?
No, I haven't. Although I have Eldritch Horror, but I've never played it.
Yeah, I've got that one too. And I'm a huge Cthulhu, Lovecraft fan, so I have the Arkham Horror game, and I like the Arkham Horror game. I for whatever reason, I just never got into I think it's an LCG. I mean, the terminologies are so weird, but
living card game. Yeah.
Wait, what's a living card game?
It just means that they just continue to sell product.
Right. Yeah.
It's alive because they generate.
You need a base set, and then they continue to sell expansions for the base.
But it's not collectible.
No, it is not. That's right. That's what differentiates it. It is not a collectible game. Everyone gets the same things in what you buy for that product.
Right.
Yeah.
Same kind of model, but not as competitive on cards, and if you need a purple-eyed bug monster eater or whatever the hell it was, right? Lotus. What was the black?
Oh, the Black Lotus from Magic.
Yeah. It's not that game.
Right? Yeah, you don't have to buy it.
And I say that having played Magic in back in the day and loving it, and it was a fun game. I got out of it because I'm like, okay, this is like Warhammer 40K. This is a racket.
Oh, totally.
And I don't want to be in a racket, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree too. And you're like yourself. I played Magic when it first came out. With actually, incidentally, the same friend who I'm now playing the Arkham Horror LCG with. So we've had a long history and of gaming together too.
Right.
But yeah, when we realized that this just never ends, and I didn't like the whole like monetized aspect of card rarity and then if you can access those like supercharged cards, you're going to have a stronger deck, but you need to, have the resources, whatever that be, to access it. It seemed ridiculous to me. It's like, well, this is a game. Like, this shouldn't be, this isn't like the stock market or I don't know.
Right. Right. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, next question.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this kind of the format? Like, I'll just like, I guess I'm the interview.
You're the interviewee.
Yeah. I'm the interviewee. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah. And then you say whatever you want. That's
right. Sure. Although, like I said, we can riff on it and go. I mean, we've already
done that. Sure. Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why it's on the rocks and not.
Right. What happens on the rocks gets blasted out to the whole wide world.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
For all the 3 eventual listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fully engaged in a suit; it's fully engaged on the rocks. So.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
This is another very serious question.
Yes.
Which would you rather do? Crash a tank through a building, or shoot an anti-tank weapon from inside a building?
Ooh. I think, is it a Piat?
No, it is not. Definitely not.
Is it a Panzerschreck or a Panzerfaust?
Exactly.
You know what? I'm gonna drive a tank through a building, man. That's fun, right? Not a tall building. Pardon?
Multiple times even.
Yeah. Multiple times. I'll drive through it, and then I'll back over it, and I'll drive through it again.
Right.
As long as it's not a very tall building, because I don't want it to collapse on me. I don't want to get buried alive under rubble. But if it's like, some old lady's wooden hut,
right.
I'll drive my tank through it.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
For those of you listening who don't know, Scott was playing the tournament and he drove a tank through a building and failed his immobilization check and failed his bailout roll Yeah, on turn one.
Yeah, on turn one. It was my first, actually, literally my first move of the game was to move this tank.
Better.
So I lost the game, within the first half second of the first turn. So.
Was this in the grabbing some houses? I think it was. Right?
Yeah, it was the first that small one with the U.S. and Germans.
Yeah.
Well, and then your opponent very graciously said, "Okay, I can't take that."
Yeah.
and then you did it again.
Yeah, I tempted fate yet again. Right? We got through a few turns. I'm like, I got to do this. So I did it. It happened again, then there you go. But then we just had a good laugh, and we said, "No, that's reality. We just watched reality go down. There's no take backs." Yeah, it's a sign, exactly. But I still would choose that. Let me drive the tank through the building forever and ever.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is better than the taking the C2 on the.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, getting some third degree burns. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and I mean, since we're on that topic, hopefully people are aware that we've been trying to get through this tournament, this ATS online tournament, which had 10, 11, 12 people slowly dropping out over time. We finally finished round 5. We did a round robin play where we had 2 pools of players. Everybody played everybody in their pool, and based on the records, the top 2 are going to advance. So that was the tournament. Scott was part of that tournament. Evan and I were both part of that. Our part was part of that tournament. But one of the things we wanted to ask you, Scott, just kind of generally speaking, what were your experiences in the tournament? How did you think it went? And I'm not looking to be stroked here, but if you want to, that's fine.
Yeah, I may be compelled to actually. So,
but anyway, really, we just kind of wanted the reaction. Yeah, we just wanted the reaction on your thoughts on the tournament, just in general, and how what maybe your experiences in the tournament were.
They were fantastic.
Good.
To be honest, I've never played in any kind of organized gaming tournament before. That was like my first experience with a tournament, even a smaller scale tournament. But it was fantastic. I really liked. My favorite part was just meeting the other players, people who I know. Like maybe I'd known them from their activity on the ATS Facebook group, or even on the Discord, the Discord server, but never met them or talked to them. And that was the funnest part for me. I mean, it's always fun to play ATS, but it's great to learn more about the people you're playing with, have some laughs, and just see how it goes. So I don't know. My experience was it was a really great group of people to have met and played with, and I hope we can do it again in the future. And I don't know what I would change. I thought the format worked great. I can't even think of anything I would change. So
good.
Good job on the organizers.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I would second that. I think for whatever reason, I think that the players that were drawn to be in the tournament were for the most part, were the right set of players. I mean, I sat in a couple of games where so it wasn't super competitive. The opponents were saying, you probably don't really want to do that. Right. Or you forgot
helping
about
each other, right?
Or, right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's more of a, I don't know, co-opetition than a competition, but still so much fun. I'm looking forward to like I said, the round 5 is over. We're moving on to the semifinals, and then we'll do the finals. Yeah,
have those games been scheduled yet?
I have not, because my opponent is in the middle of a move, and so he's like, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. Is that Mark?
Joe.
You're playing Fernandez.
I think Evan is playing Mark.
Right.
I don't know if you guys scheduled yet, Evan.
No, not yet. I'm still hiding behind my scenario preparation.
Nice.
Because I tremble.
I mean, part of my fear is like the fix is in, because I'm in the semifinal. No.
No.
But that was just luck of the draw, and you and I at the end of round 5 would have played. I think for, if I remember the standings right, you and I think would have had to play off for the second spot.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
No, or it might have been you and Don or something. Anyway, but at the end of the day, I mean, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was Mark and I.
Oh, maybe it was Mark.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I had some troubles with my late games. My game with Mo, we were close to finishing, but then he's like, I can't anymore. He got really busy with some personal life stuff, so he had to bow out. Right. And then I was trying to get something going with Jameson,
Yep.
And then he's like, you know what, man, I'm too busy as well with work and my kids and stuff. And at that point I was like, you know what, I think I am too.
Yeah.
Especially after my conversation with Jameson, I was starting to feel the pinch. Like, as you know, we just recently had another baby.
I was going to say, you have a new distraction in the house.
Yeah.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a baby.
Yep. It's a baby.
It's a baby. It's here. Apparently I had something to do with it. And now it's here. Yeah.
So they tell you.
So I haven't actually seen it yet. I've heard it. I haven't seen it. Yeah.
How is that going?
Yeah. Oh, it's going good. You know, like
good,
this is our third time around the kid bend.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know, Scott, now you're going from man-to-man defense to zone defense.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay. Yeah, but it's been going good. It's been going good. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and kids need, especially young kids, they need your time. So.
Correct.
Yeah. Thanks
well, I think. Sure, no problem. But I think that's also kind of part of it is that, you know, all of the players were very gracious in terms of timing and scheduling, and I have this going on and that going on, or I need to drop for this. Great, fine, whatever. It was no pressure. Right?
Oh yeah, there's so much.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say friendly flexibility is that's a phrase that would come to mind.
Correct.
Friendly flexibility. Yeah.
That sounds kinky.
Yeah, friendly flexibility.
Yeah. So see, people, it's not that bad. Make an internet friend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See how flexible they are.
That's right.
Yeah.
You said it, not me. Well, that actually brings us into our last pre-intro question, which we've already jumped into the later questions, but that's okay. We're being very flexible as well.
Yeah.
So this is the most important of all questions. If you were to star in an adult film titled Busty Volgo, what would your porn star name be?
Okay. Sorry. The title of the film is Busty
Volgo, not Volgo.
Busty Volgo.
Yes.
All right. And okay.
We'll explain the question in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So it's titled Busty Volgo. Maybe I would just be called the Tank.
Nice. I like it.
Okay.
Well played.
Yeah, I'll go
because
with that.
he drives through buildings.
I drive through. I plow. No, I don't drive through.
Oh, that's right. You plow through buildings.
I plow through them, through the front and the back of the building. I plow through.
Wow.
I'm talking about buildings. I don't know.
Way to take hold and squeeze tight.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So we.
Well played.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, okay, so to bring it back to ATS just for a moment.
If you need to.
I mean, it is called ATS Beyond the Rocks. I guess pretend.
I think we're on the rocks right now. Let's get back to the ATSFE.
I think so. I gotta say it's appropriate because I don't know if it's Mitch or you, Evan, but I keep hearing like ice tinkling in a glass. It's perfect ambience.
That's probably mine.
Yeah. Well, it's
I'm
suitable.
neat.
You're neat.
I don't know that I could drink a gin and tonic neat.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah. Oof.
That's gross.
Yeah. You need some chill on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, but Scott, what I was going to say was that it's funny because I was kind of, not you specifically, just in general, because the other people who've done it too, kind of, chuckling to myself, those people who ran the tanks through the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was so silly in the first scenario. But come 4 rounds later, and we're in Pebbles in the Stream, and I'm the Russians, and my first turn, I I ended up winning the game, but my first turn was not a good turn.
Right.
And it occurred to me, man, I really should have tried to run these tanks through some buildings.
There you go, right? Yeah, sure. Because did you need a shortcut? Were you looking for a shortcut through something?
Yeah, the Russians just have so many tanks, and the Germans have so few that and then they pick up their channel down this road, so you can just go.
Well, the scenario very specifically channels the parameters of what hexes are in place, so that the only non-immobilization check way to get to the bottom of the map is via the road.
Right.
Otherwise, you're taking immobilization checks, which is why that's one of my very favorite scenarios. And apparently, it's one of the OG's very favorite scenarios, which makes me feel really good. But exactly.
Right. Yeah.
The OG is the OG. So
the OG is the OG. I've got no problem with trying to drive tanks through buildings or anything else if you need to. I mean, look, the odds are like, okay, as long you don't want to bog out in a hex where you've got nothing to shoot at, right? That's just a waste.
Right.
But if you're like, okay, even if worst case scenario, I bog out in this hex, I'm still a threat. Then that's fine. And the odds are still, the odds are still decent, especially against immobilization and bailout. The odds are good against that situation. Correct. Despite what happened to me.
Twice.
Twice, exactly. Twice.
In a row.
Yeah, so in a row, yeah.
You're beating the odds.
Well, yeah, like that, and that's part of the game too, though, right? It's like you have to, it's just quick statistical analysis of like, okay, what are the chances? There's no guarantee it's going to go that way, which is what makes the game exciting, which makes any like game with a random element exciting. But you got to be able to play the odds, which is also why I like ATS's D10 and sometimes percentile systems, because then it's just very easy to say, okay, yeah, it's that, plus 1 plus 2 shifts it plus 10 minus 10 to such and such direction, and then you get a idea of where you're at. So yeah.
A good long discussion on percentile systems in our EVO hot take, which is also going to be part of this podcast. So.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Have you guys looked at any of that stuff yet?
We have.
Yeah.
In fact, we very deeply did it, and probably will publish that before this interview. Sorry, Scott.
Oh, that's okay.
Preempted by Evo.
Yeah, you're preempted by Evo. Okay. I mean, it's a hot topic, right? I mean, Ray's releasing stuff, and to circle back around the whole. So during our hot take episode, Tony, for whatever reason, could not pronounce Volga.
Okay.
And of course, they're both Hedros or bust and Volga or bust. So it's a busty system. And so now you have busty
Volgo.
Right. So now you know why.
Okay. Well, that's funny. That's good.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, I think you, not to put too fine a point on it, but you rose to the occasion.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Well
Thank
played.
You. Yeah. Well played again.
I have these audio effects at my fingertips. I need to use them.
That's a compulsion,
right?
Yeah. Well, that'd be hard to resist.
Yeah. So now that we've spent 30 some odd minutes BSing, I think it's time to get this serious. But no, I mean, really,
we didn't BS. We bullshitted.
That's right. We bullshitted. This is not a safe for work or for children podcast. Sorry. Sorry. So one of the questions I really did want to ask Scott, and for those of you listeners who don't know, Scott has been instrumental. There's probably a better word for that in the creation of VATS, the virtual ATS system, and keeping it up to date. So I was kind of curious, how did you get involved with that? Where does that stand? How does it work? How easy is it to get new modules in there? And just kind of riff on the whole VATS thing and where it started and where you think it's going.
Right. Okay. Good questions. Good question about that. So, my involvement with VATS started probably around let me see here, 2012, I guess.
Oh wow.
There was a guy by the name of Michal Blazacek, who's no longer really part of the ATS community. But at the time, unbeknownst to me, he had, petitioned Ray to start generating a new version of the VATS module for Vassal. There had been a VATS 2.0 up to that point, and I think Ray Tapio and others from the original community were involved in the production of that module. But Michal's plan was to sort of gut the VATS 2 module, and then sort of build it again, build in the guts, right? But with a lot of revision, a lot of new prototypes, which is an aspect of Vassal and programming Vassal modules. So kind of rebuilding it from the ground up, but sort of using what he could of the shell, right, from VATS 2. So he had started on that. Mo Karaher, who's part of our current community, I had fostered a connection with him. We had first bought something from him, And then we started playing some play-by-email games together. But he was also connected to Mihal. And I had been doing little extensions for VATS 2.0 just to sort of enhance it in any way I could, right? And he noticed, Mo noticed that, and he mentioned what I was doing to Mihal. So then Mihal and I connected, and we started. I started helping him develop this new VATS 3 module. Like he'd already laid down a lot of he was working on the prototypes and sort of the foundation of the module, how it would kind of primarily function. So I started to assist with image editing and getting that stuff into the module and contributing some of the ideas I had about how the module can function. But he was taking care of most of the programming at that point. I started helping more with the programming as that went on. And in fact, I was really fortunate to have hooked up with him in this regard because I learned a tremendous amount about Vassal that I just simply didn't know before. So I certainly owe a debt of gratitude to him for, training me in how these things, what you could actually do with Vassal, right? So it's not just here's counters and map. You move them around and, that's it. There's really a lot of automation you can build into it and other neat features that can, aid in quality of life, right? For that. So
the little pointer thing, was it alt left click? Yeah, that's huge.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a funny thing. Yeah. That came in before the more recent release of Vassal, where that just became stock inside the Vassal software. So now any module you open up has that feature. But before that existed, I was able to get that circle. So that was that was going on. But that wasn't even my programming. I can't take credit for that. I noticed it in a module, and so I contacted someone about it. I said, "How do you do this? Like, what's the deal?" He's like, "Don't worry about it. I'm just going to send you this element that you can basically plug into the module." So that's where that came from. So I really can't take credit for its first appearance in VATS, but I did have the foresight to think, hey, this is a cool idea. So we got that in there. Anyhow, on with my story. So Mihal and I then worked pretty closely together to continue developing VATS 3.0 with Ray's help. Ray was giving us map files, counter files that we could then convert into the Vassal environment. And then, I don't know, a year or so went by and Mihal got busy with other things. And I think his interest maybe in the game itself was waning. So I took over full reign, and that maybe happened in 2013 or so. And then I've just been developing it pretty much independently since that time, and adding in quality of life improvements, any new counters, anything else that had to be added, plus trying to keep a steady flow of new maps, entering into the ecosystem there, so that if I could have my druthers, everything ATS would be available in Vassal. But
amen.
Yeah, amen. Right, and Ray has said that on a few occasions, like, this is what I would like to see. I'd like to see everything ATS in Vassal. But Ray's
Algeria.
Yeah. I know. Well, yeah. You know what? Okay. Here's the two. Okay, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
It's much easier for me, obviously, when Ray can just give me the.
Sure.
The counters are pretty much covered. Like, there'll be the odd counter now and again that will be new for some reason, but I can easily handle that on my own. It's no big deal, even from my own counter scans. But it's the maps that are like a really time consuming, right? Scanning each panel, and then each panel's assembled from about like 4 different scans, and then you have to align them and make sure they're straight and make sure they all more or less look the same. So when they're laid out and stitched together, they look like a nice presentation.
Yeah.
So
to be clear, Scott, that's a problem in the physical components too.
Yes.
Continue.
Oh yeah. No, I just got it. No, I just totally got it. I just got it.
Map panel.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
My one huge pet peeve, but anyway, continue.
Yeah. That's funny. For what it's worth, I like them. I don't know why, but I like them. I enjoy the assembly of the map panels, but that's just me.
Right. Can you get them to line up?
Well enough. Yeah, I do a pretty good job. Like, I like. You have to use.
Enough. What kind of answer is that?
Okay.
Well enough.
Well enough.
That LOS only works in your game, not in my game.
Yeah. Good enough. Close enough.
Right.
No, normally pretty good. I think what you have to do is just, you go step by step, and when I do assemble them, I use little pieces of removable tape.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get 2 panels going, and then I tape them into place, and then I get an next panel, and I tape that into place. So the end result, right? And most games are made up between 6 and 9 panels.
Yeah.
That's fairly typical. So it's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
And if you're playing a scenario that only requires, this is one of the benefits that Ray likes to tout.
Yep.
That if it's only 1 panel or 2 panels, then you don't have to lay out a whole map. That's true.
Correct.
But I find more often than not you end up having to lay out the whole map for whatever reason. Yeah, so that was map panels. So scanning them and editing them digitally and stitching them together is a lot of work. So it's best when Ray just shoots me the file. Then I can have a map done in literally about 10 minutes. I can have a new map and ready to be plugged into Vassal. But Ray's contributions in that way, they ebb and flow. Sometimes I get stuff, sometimes he gets busy with other things, and it's not a priority for him, right? And I don't like to keep constantly hounding him. So yeah, I guess where does that leave us at this point?
I think that was.
I've been rambling quite a bit.
I think it was great.
That was perfect.
I say I've only been part of the Scottigles version of VATS, so I very much appreciate it. It's allowed me, I do actually. I am blessed. I have 2 opponents locally who play ATS.
That's amazing.
Which I can do face to face, but it's the ability to get on VATS. I play Tony. So oddly enough, even though I have local opponents, I've played Tony more than those guys, right? Because those guys, when they come over, were like, let's play something else or whatever.
Right.
And I'm fine with that because I've played Tony or I've played Evan or, in the tournament, I've played a whole bunch of different people, right?
Yeah.
Which has been great. So I think, I heard today on another wargaming podcast that somebody was complaining that Vassal is destroying the gaming community. I'm like, what planet are you on?
Yeah, that's a strange statement.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, it has opened up the opportunity to play with anybody, anywhere, literally. I've played, I guess that was TTS, which we don't want to talk about, but
yeah,
I played with guys in Australia. I've played with guys in the UK. I played a Combat Commander tournament with a couple of guys that were in the UK, which the time zones were funny, but and honestly, just sometimes brutal. But you do what you have to do. But you just fire it up, you get it, you play it, and then the best part is, if you don't finish, you just save it and then you pick it up later.
Yes. There's so many advantages, and especially let's in the context of the pandemic too, right?
Oh,
where if people were following health guidelines, you weren't getting together with. Correct. You weren't mixing households, so without some kind of online digital platform for people to continue to game together, where are we at? And even if it was outside the pandemic context. This Discord tournament, how are you going to get an ATS tournament going?
There's no way. Not enough players. Right?
There's not enough players locally, even nationally, right?
Yeah.
Thank God for whether it's TTS, Vassal. I don't know. I know there's Sun Tzu was another.
Sun Tzu, but
Sun Tzu,
I think that's dead now.
That's dead. Was Cyberboard dead too?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they're actively developing against it, but I still see people making game boards for it.
Right. But I think Vassal is definitely the leader of that
correct
style of 2D digital board game platform. So thank God for Vassal.
So good segue. Well, actually, let me just an aside. Speaking of the pandemic, is a couple of friends and I were playing the Battles from the Age of Reason. Mm-hmm. We're playing them in chronological order.
Let me hear those ice tinkle.
Chronological order. And we had gotten partway through Fontenoy when it all kicked off. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to sit here, and I brought my laptop downstairs, and I used Vassal, and I put everything into the Vassal, and we just started playing online. Yeah. And now that it's quote unquote over, whatever, we've gone back to, we're all vaccinated, all that good stuff, right? But we've gone back to playing face to face. So, it was kind of I won't say a lifesaver because that's not quite technically true, but from a gaming standpoint.
Not literally. It saved your gaming lifestyle, right? It saved your gaming lifestyle.
Yes, which was just huge. So anyway, but that's a good segue to, and I mentioned I played with a guy in Australia. I played Rugby the Game over TTS, and I know you've been working on that. Are you prepared to talk about that?
There's nothing. There's nothing that's quite ready to be released yet, and I didn't even know if there'd be much interest for it. I started working on it a few months ago, maybe, just out of curiosity, because I started using TTS more myself. Like I was playing Combat Commander on TTS, and I find I enjoy playing Combat Commander better on TTS than I did on Vassal. Even though the Vassal module is very good, I thought there's something about the 3D environment that's intimately engaging. It makes me feel like I'm almost sitting at a game table, more so than Vassal does, and I love Vassal. But TTS definitely has this component to it that's very appealing. So I got thinking, like, well, why don't you put ATS in the TTS environment and see how it feels? Like, it may be too clumsy. I think there's in terms of TTS's ability to handle a counter dense game, which ATS can sometimes be, right?
Right.
It's a lot clumsier. It's inherently more clumsier than Vassal is. Vassal's far slicker in dealing with stacks, viewing stacks, moving things around. And of course the automation too. I mean, there is automation. There's scripting available in TTS. And people script. I don't have those skills. I can just basically do a basic presentation of, like, here are the components, move them around and enjoy yourself, right? Like, I don't know what TTS's scripting language is at all, but I can do that in Vassal. Anyways, I thought I'll put it together and just see if this is even a workable design in an environment you'd want to play the game in. And thus far, I would say yes, but you're going to have to like TTS. Like, if you already have sort of an issue with TTS's presentation or its control system, you're not going to like ATS under TTS. But I would say so far it's working, and I'm. One of the actually, this is the crucial thing that allows it to work. And I know the guys who are doing the lock and load tactical TTS modules are using this too. A user on the TTS community made a script it's called Stack Exploder, right? So it allows you to right click on a stack of pieces, right? And just choose Explode Stack. And then it will mark the location, give you a little indication of where that stack actually sits, but then lay the stacks out horizontally in single pieces, so that you can view the single pieces, and then you can move that by clicking on the little marker that it leaves behind, right, as an indication of where that stack actually exists on the board. And you can drag it to a new location, or you repack the stack, and it's just you click a text label, which is sort of a button. You click that, and then the stack repacks itself into a nice stack.
Nice.
So that's sort of, I think, what's making hex and counter wargaming even possible now in TTS. Prior to this little bit of script, I don't think any game that relies on any amount of stacking would just be an enormous pain in the ass to try to navigate.
Right.
So that's key. But that's in there, and then it's just a matter of getting more especially the nationality counters, filling those out. That's kind of a lot of work. But other than that, and I'm just stealing. Basically,
right.
I don't have the gusto to go back to the high res image files and recreate the counters at a higher resolution so that they look better in TTS. So I'm just taking all the elements that have been created in VATS thus far, and inputting them or importing them into TTS. Nice. So it's working, and I imagine I'll have something that I can release on the TTS workshop sometime soonish. It's not a super high priority for me right now, but I think it's workable. But if you like TTS,
CF, new small one.
Yeah. What?
New small one.
What's new? Oh yeah, exactly. Yes.
New small human.
New small one. Yeah, tiny human disrupting household.
Right. That's right.
But it'll get there. You know what I mean? There's really just I have to decide what I want to include, just as to provide like a fully operational package. You know what I mean? Cool. So, okay, well here's the map for this particular module, and here are the counters you need for that module, and then just kind of go from there. Yeah. Rather than try to be entirely comprehensive. It's just too much work. It'll be take it as you go.
Right. Well, as we've discussed, a couple of times, I'm not a super fan of the TTS interface. I think it works well for certain things. I'm not so sure it works well for games. But then again, I think part of that is I've been using Vassal for so long that I've got muscle memory there. It's learning a new set of skills. But so all that said, when you're ready, I am more than happy to download it and try it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I don't know how familiar you are with TTS, but for all these kind of custom game packages that people create, there's the Steam or the TTS Tabletop Simulator Workshop. Once I make it public, it's already on there, it's just hidden, right? So once I make it public, you can just search for it and
perfect.
Bob's your uncle. Subscribe and you're on your way.
Awesome.
Cool. Scott, have you talked to Ray about this?
No, I haven't. And that's another obstacle. I think that's what's also kind of slowing it down. Because because I was sort of building it for myself, you know what I mean? I was like, I'll just see how this goes. I was like, I'll include the AFE cards. I'll include all the charts and tables, right? Right. So that's sort of been the progress thus far, but that's a big no-no, right? And I don't think, he hasn't been willing to accept that under Vassal, so I don't think he's going to change his mind under TTS. I could strip that stuff out and give an equivalent version, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I don't necessarily blame him for that. Just like ASL and a lot of those games, the game is the rules and the charts, right? So if you start giving those away for free, then what incentive do people have to buy those particular products? Although, on the other hand, now you have all the scenarios and stuff. But I don't. Yeah. That's a business decision that I'm not gonna die on the sword on that one, right? So.
No, I won't question it either. It's just that's fine. I can understand it from both sides. And
correct.
You do what you want to do, which is fine.
And especially games like that, right? It just makes sense. You can't give that IP out. You can't just make that IP readily accessible. So
yeah, especially for a small publisher,
Correct.
Who would suffer, I think, more significantly should things get out of hand, right? For some reason, the little human is proximity alert.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah. So I think that's all I really have to say about ATS in TTS at this point. But I'll continue working on it, and hopefully, I know the OG is pretty excited.
He loves TTS. Yep. But see, the OG is a big miniatures guy too, right? So it plays very, very well with miniatures because it's like a 3D feel, right?
Totally.
So it makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, and it's great. In fact, I started investigating TTS because I love X-Wing miniatures, the X-Wing miniatures game.
Okay.
And there's a really good module on there, right? But the first time I exposed myself to TTS and trying to get a handle on the X-Wing miniatures, I was just like, this is ridiculous. But then I don't think I was, either it didn't exist at the time or I just didn't know how to access it. But all the automation in terms of, all the ship moves and collision detection and all the stuff that's part of that game, trying to just do that manually with no scripting assistance is just forget it. I don't even want to be bothered. So I think in a lot of cases, scripting is key to make the game not make you crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. There were so many possible jokes in there, but I'm not gonna.
Oh really?
No, we're not gonna touch them with a 12-inch pole.
Okay. Yeah, we'll leave that for Busty Volgo.
Okay, Busty Volgo is good.
Yeah, you can listen to it later.
Right.
Yeah.
Decide what to include in your.
Yeah. See, now I'm trying to go over what I just said in my head, and I'm trying. Okay, well, where was the potential? Where were the landmines there?
When we post it, you can re-listen.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, Scott, so you had mentioned. We had mentioned Algeria before, and you seemed like you had some. There was a cliffhanger there. So what? Algeria.
Well, you asked me about my collection, and I said it's 99% complete. Well, Algeria had been for some time a piece of the collection that was missing, and I wasn't sure I was even going to get it because I wasn't sure how interested I was in it.
All right, so folks, this has been Scott Eagles.
It's like just the lights go off.
Right. Here, wait. We have a. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I deserve that. But then a lot of the time it comes down to too, like money, right? It's like, man, I keep sinking money into this stuff, right? Especially if it's something I'm not sure I'm that interested in, right? Even though I might be curious about it. But I had some credit. I had some store credit for some work I had done for Ray somewhat recently. And I purchased Algeria with that. So I do have it. I do have it. So maybe I'll make that my next project. Hello?
I mean, I'm here.
Still here?
Oh, you there? Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. It just went really quiet.
The clapping a sound effect.
Yeah. No.
It just went like black quiet.
I hit the mute button.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyways, I do have that game now, that game module, and maybe I'll make that my next, that'll be a home scan from top to bottom.
Oh, there you go.
So, but the boards for that, they're like the geo boards, right? So they're a little easier to deal with actually than map panels. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we would love you forever because, I mean, that one in particular was a lot of, I mean, Mitch and I are both excited. Mitch has played it in person, and I own it, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
But that one also has a lot of hidden stuff, so you kind of got to play it face to face or opposed to make it worthwhile. So.
Definitely. And in the VATS context, it makes hidden units and Fog of War a breeze, right?
Right.
So, that's
exactly.
A plus. Yeah.
Another plus for VATS.
Another plus for VATS.
So you mentioned you had done some work for Ray, and this is something I've been very curious about because I played 3.09 or whatever it was, 3.xx for maybe a year and a half or 2 years before I finally got to switch over to the 4th edition.
Yeah.
And then when I got the 4th edition, I was like, there was all sorts of stuff on the back, and verbiage about the update and how the Eagle had taken care of business and gotten things done. I was like, oh shit, okay. I mean, I knew your name because you were on the Facebook group or whatever, because that was before Discord. But I didn't know, that you were involved with the 4th edition update. So I was curious to ask you about that, kind of what your involvement was and how you interact with Ray now on keeping up with the rules and how that will work going forward.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you. So when Ray went from the 3.xx, when he moved away from version 3 and introduced the version 4, remember it was called the field manual, like 4.0 was the field manual, right? And yeah, that's what it was called.
That was the 4th edition version of Evo.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Anyhow, I got excited about it. I bought the print version. I think he's probably only offering a print version at that point. So I got it, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. But I was reading through it, or I was excited about it, and I was reading through it, and I was just kind of disappointed in the overall. I found it a missed opportunity. I felt like Ray had just taken, he'd been developing the TT system around the same time, and he just kind of like taken chunks of the TT system and just rammed them into the version 3 rules. But it was, in my opinion, it was done rather like indelicately, and there seemed to be a lot of rough edges in the rules presentation, right? So I was disappointed and maybe even a little bit angry. So I sat down and I was like, you know what? Because I love this game. I think this is like one of the best tactical systems out there, and I want this to be a better game. And this presentation is sort of letting it down. I just took it upon myself to start going through and editing the rules as I thought they should be, right? I mean, I wasn't trying to introduce grudge rules or change this or that because I don't like that system. It's like, this isn't making sense anymore, or this contradicts that bit. So we got to decide at some point what's correct, right? So I went through that and I made a whole pile of editing notes that I supplied to Ray, and I said, here, like I've been doing this. I can't remember at this point if my contact with Ray, what it had been. Maybe he had known me because I'd been assisting on the VATS project with Mihal. So I had sort of a small inroad, right, to grab his ear. And I offered up him my ideas about edits, and he started implementing them. And then we just kind of went forward with that. So we went through. So they started releasing. He started releasing. Okay, now this is version 4.1. Now this is version 4.2, or whatever. However he was numbering them. But I went through about maybe 3 rounds of revisions offering up my suggestions, and then he would incorporate them, and that's how the version 4 rules. Like I was kind of key in helping to develop the version 4 rules after they were released as the field manual, which I felt really needed some help. So lately, though, I haven't been involved. Like I know there's been a lot of occasional talk about I guess there's a version, whatever they're going to call it, version 5 or whatever.
Whatever's next.
Yeah,
right?
Whatever. I don't know if that's Evo or what. I'm really at a loss as to what's going on. But
you and the rest of the ATS community.
Totally, right? So I don't know what's happening, but like to be honest, I'm a little bit burnt out with the whole rules editing thing, and I'm so tired of revisiting the rules. I didn't feel like going through that again, so I didn't offer my help to Ray when I learned he was revisiting the rules himself and was going to try to do an amalgamation and sort of incorporate rules that maybe existed in Battlefield walkarounds, but would make the overall rulebook more comprehensive. Wasn't really interested in getting on that train again. Right. So yeah, I don't know, and he hasn't asked, but then. Whether he thinks doesn't value my contributions anymore, I don't know. I think it's just a matter of like he knows that this is purely done on a voluntary basis, right? Like I don't get paid for that.
On that route, right?
Yeah, so he doesn't want to pressure me or overstep boundaries that way. If I were to offer, I'm sure he would take me up on it, but I don't think I'm going to offer. No.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, leaving aside all of the possible Busty Volgo the tank joke you made at the beginning of that, I'm just going to. Slide right over those again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, thank you. I didn't know that backstory. That's awesome. But,
thanks.
That's cool. That's a big contribution to the game.
Right.
I mean, and that's kind of our conclusion, I think, in part from last night. We were talking about Evo. Was like, wow, there's lots of cool ideas, but man, this isn't done. We need some editing here. We need some tightening up.
Yes.
So like you had a big part to do with that with the 4th edition.
Yeah, I felt like I really put a lot of effort into that. Like I was really trying to address everything I felt was there, all the friction that I found in the rules, right? I was really trying to do that without changing them. Like, it's like, oh, now I can do whatever. That was never my intention. Right. I don't think I did that at all. I was just trying to resolve the frictions, right? Just smooth it out so that it made more sense and it felt right. So, I enjoyed my efforts. I enjoyed doing that because I saw it sort of develop and become a tighter package. So I'm happy to have done that. And because I did that, it really gave me a deep familiarity with the rules, right? Because I've had to sort of like grapple with certain things, more so maybe than a casual player who just reads a rule section and then carries on would have to do. So I'm like, wait, there's an issue here and this has to be resolved. How does this conflict with some earlier section of the rules, or does this create more friction than it solves, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been a benefit to me too, because now I really very familiar with the rule set. So.
Right. So what degree is it you kind of resolving those issues and you asking Ray, and I'm not saying that, he's the ultimate source or you're the ultimate source. I'm just curious, like how that interplay works of figuring out, kind of hashing out when there's a conflict or an issue.
Yeah. Well, there was like, occasionally there would be a little bit of back and forth on something, but for the most part, he would just take my edits. You know what I mean? Be like, here it is. But then, like, again, I wasn't trying to change the game. Like
no, of course.
I'm sure I dropped the ball or missed things in here and there, but there was never. I don't think the sorts of changes I was making really required a lot of back and forth. It's like, here, this section doesn't make sense. Or even this sentence is grammatically incorrect. It's like, oh yes, we recognize that this sentence is grammatically incorrect. Here's how it's phrased, and now it flows a little better, right? Something like that, for instance.
Right.
Yeah. So I felt like I kind of had free reign. I mean, obviously, I would just submit my suggestions to him, and then he would say thank you, and then I would then next edition of the print rules would come out, and I'd have a look and I'd be like, oh, he incorporated that.
Oh, nice. It's a nice feeling.
Nice.
Warm fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, warm and fuzzy.
Well, yeah, I remember when he put out a call for, hey, if you've got anything, send it in so we can incorporate it in the next rule set. And it's been years. Where's the next rule set?
Yeah, where's the next rule set?
And
Evo,
I mean,
Evo
to be fair, 4.x or whatever I don't know what the most recent version.
Yeah, I think it's 4.4.2. 4.
Sure.
I think that comes to mind anyway.
They're fine. They're tight. You can play with them. There's very rarely questions, and when there are questions, they're usually pretty easily answered. Make some assumptions and move on.
Yeah.
So I'm not like worried about getting the next. Oh, I really wish it would come out. I can't play my ATS without it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not sure how. I think maybe Evo is because Ray's like an inveterate tinkerer, right? We all know that. But Evo is kind of his project where he can play with the rule set. So maybe he acknowledged that there was some unpleasant backlash when he moved from version 3 to version 4 and started incorporating some of the TT rules, or pretty much all the TT rules, as this is the new ATS standard. And I think he lost a lot of loyal players when he did that. Like, I'm fine with 3.0 or whatever. Fuck this. I'm not even.
People are the worst.
Well, but which is funny because the 4.x rules, I mean, they're not that much different. Yeah, they advanced the contact SOPs in there, which I just don't use, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. You don't have to.
You don't have to. Yeah.
Right. Both of them are in there. But I mean, other than that, there wasn't a whole lot really added. So I don't understand that. Other than, I mean, the biggest thing was DRMs or shifts to DRMs, which is
whatever.
I mean,
like whatever. I think I like
the same thing.
It's it works out the same way, right? And I think I like DRMs better than column shifts, to be honest.
Especially in a D10 system.
Yeah, especially in a D10 system, exactly.
So I think it actually tends to work a little bit better there. So anyway.
I agree.
I mean, it just came up last night when we were talking about Evo. I'm still shocked, like, to hear. I mean, Mitch had mentioned it, but now that you say it even more strongly, I just can't believe that. Like, I played 3X for a long time, for like a year and a half or 2 years, and it was great. And then I moved to 4X, and it was better. And I was like, this is great.
Yeah,
I don't understand people.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. But people, whatever, they do what they want.
People are strange. There's a song about that. Yeah,
I think so.
So, Scott, I think we want to be conscious of your time and obviously the time that people are spending listening to this. Maybe whatever.
Yeah.
So I think we'll end on one last question.
Sure.
Do you have a favorite ATS experience that you want to share? So playing a game or whatever that just really, really stands out to you of how it really highlighted the game for you, or whatever.
That's a tough one. I don't think I've had like an experience that'd be like, wow, like I could sell anyone on this game if they could just get their head into what I just experienced, right? But I'll say this about ATS. I have never had a bad game of ATS. Like, I've always enjoyed myself, right? And I think that says a lot. So I'm not particular about scenario type or force combinations or anything. I just like to play it. So if someone suggests a scenario, I'd be like, yeah, let's play it. Let's see how it works. Because I've never had a bad time playing ATS, and I think that says a lot about the system.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right.
That's awesome.
Evan, any last thoughts?
No, this has been great. Thank you so much, Scott.
Oh, it's been great hanging out with you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome.
Nice I think that's opportunity to talk.
Yeah, I think that's the problem is we could probably sit here and talk about ATS for the next 3 hours. I mean,
Yeah.
But sometime we have to end. So unfortunately, this is it. But Scott, again, I'll echo Evan. Thanks you so much for spending time with us, and best of luck with the new human.
Yeah, thank you.
And hopefully we'll see you online.
Oh, you will for sure. Thanks again, guys. It's been fun. It's been fun. It's always fun hanging out with you.
Cool. All right, folks. See ya.